What is going on, guys? It's Clow, and in this video I'm going to give you guys some important tips and tricks that will make you become a better Apocalypse Rising 2 player. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Familiarize yourself with the map. When it comes to apoc 2, or really any survival game of any sort, you must familiarize yourself with the geography of the map you'll be playing on. Knowing the places to go for loot, camp, and get yourselves around mines will not only aid you in better preparation with combat, but also help you in getting geared up fast and strike your opponents before they even get the chance to fight back. Number 2. Practice, practice, practice. As cliche as it sounds, you absolutely must practice if you want to get better with playing Apocalypse Rising 2. This really goes for anything you do, but when it comes to a game of survival and rigorous player-to-player combat, practicing with other players, especially those of experience, will really help you get better at stuff like with aim, peeking, and flanking, which we'll get into in a bit. Matter of fact, you could join my Apocalypse Rising Discord server linked on this video and my channel on the About page. Every now and then we do PvPs, and I think that these battles will really help you get better as a player and help our apoc community grow, which we will really appreciate. Number 3. Adjust your settings properly. Now, as I've mentioned in my previous point, practicing player-to-player combat is really useful for getting better with, well, combat. But maybe you have been practicing with other players for a long time, you just can't seem to get better with your aim. You might be wondering, could it be with my mouse? The answer to that is, yeah, probably. See, what many people seem to miss a lot, especially new players that just get into games like apoc 2, are the game and mouse settings. Really, what I mean by that is the field of view, controller GUIs, and more importantly, your mouse sensitivity settings. So, starting off with the most important thing to set up properly is the mouse. I've seen way too many players use incredibly high DPI, like I'm talking 1400 all the way up to 3000. In case some of you don't know what DPI means, it's an acronym that stands for dots per inch, or dots per linear inch. And to keep it simple, it's basically a measurement of mouse sensitivity. Typically, you would want to set your mouse's DPI somewhere between 400 to 850-ish. From my personal experience and a few of my friends who have tried out lowering their mouse sensitivity, I can say with confidence that our precision and handling of the weapons have drastically improved, and just overall our gameplay has just gotten a lot better. Now, of course, everyone will have their own preferences when it comes to survival shooting games like apoc, but if you do seem to be struggling with getting your shots on point, changing your mouse settings is something that I definitely look into. Now, when it comes to game settings, what you want to make sure to modify is the field of view, and essentially what this does is increase the range which you can see in third person. Everything is more zoomed in, and you have a better feel of the environment around you, which is obviously useful when enemies can target you from any angle and direction. I believe that the FOV is initially set to 70, so what you want to do is just go to settings in the main menu page or the loading screen and just simply drag that to 90, which is the maximum field of view. Next up, you want to change up the cursor's color to something more vibrant or something that just sticks out from the rest of the environment to give you more accuracy when you're using it in close range to aim. Typically I'd go for a color like neon or cyan, but really this part is up to you to decide. Lastly, you want to remove the controller GUIs unless you really absolutely need them to know what the controls are, but if you've already familiarized yourself with it, you can simply remove it at the settings tab. Number 4. Coordinate well with others. Do you remember how I mentioned that practice is essential into getting better at apoc 2? Well, that goes the same way with others that you play with. I'm sure that most of us that play apoc 2 play with a friend or so. If you do happen to do so, then I'd strongly recommend doing PvPs as teams. To add on to this, I'd also recommend talking to your comrades through the group chat or more effectively through voice chat, so you can communicate and coordinate your offensive and defensive positions and strategies while in combat, which really helps. Number 5. Situational awareness. Dead zombies, dead players, drop loot, footsteps, grumbling zombies, these are all signs that there is a player within close proximity to you. Situational awareness is all about knowing what's up around the environment you're in and what to do when you're facing such a situation where you know that there is a player nearby. Maybe you're in a cave or under a basement of some warehouse. You hear footsteps. I will play a clip of the footsteps sounds. You tell me which one of these footsteps is a footsteps of a player, which one is the footsteps of a zombie. Now, if you mentioned that any one of them were footsteps of a zombie, well, you are absolutely incorrect because those are all footsteps from a player. one who crouches while walking, one who regularly walks, one who sprints, and one who crouches and aims with his weapon while walking. Now, I will play you the sound of the zombie footsteps. I want you to familiarize yourself with these footstep patterns so you know exactly if the enemy near you is a player or a zombie. But now here comes a question. What do you do when you have located the player or players? If it's just one player we're talking about, the best course of action is to wait for the player to emerge and use a weapon with a very high fire rate like a MAC-10 Uzi or an MP5K or any weapon of that sort to take down the enemy while he appears. Now remember, I'm talking about a situation where the player is like extremely close to you, like 10 to 50 studs away maximum. Any further than that, you will be getting yourselves into mid to long range combat. Now if we're talking about mid to long range combat, I know that some of you guys might not be willing to wait and go straight for the rush, but if you want to ensure complete victory, you gotta play the waiting game. This, however, may pose as a dangerous game, especially like in an open environment, as a player that you are waiting for to emerge or peek you may not leave, but he may bring his team member or team members to come from behind and flank you. This brings me to the next point, which is always to look around you, especially from behind. When you are on the move or peeking a player, you should always be in third person, looking from behind and making sure that you are clear from any backstabs, which do tend to happen a lot, and it's usually how players end up failing 1v1s. If you are up against more than 2 players in a game, you can either flee away from the fight or, again, play the waiting game and wait until one of them gets in the open, as it's usually one player who goes on one side where he can see you from a better angle to commence the flank. But if you can strike before they get into their position, you will be left with a 1v1, and that would make things a lot easier to manage. The same rules apply for 3v1s, and maybe if you're lucky and skilled enough, pass a 4v1. However, if you come across a 5v1 or more, especially if the players have pinpointed your exact location, your best bet is to flee or face them and take the risk. What will you do in this case? The choice is yours. Welcome to Apocalypse Rising.